Rishi Sunak has made this one of his 5 pledges. This is what the electorate want. They want the small boats stopped.
Absolutely, they want the small boats stopped, and that is absolutely right. This is a victory, but it is a lone victory amongst many people smugglers who are causing the abuse of our immigration system and actually really posing a significant security risk to this country. Just look at what's going on in the Middle East. We cannot import people who we really don't understand their background and their criminality. There are far too many cases where people are essentially getting into this country via the back door, and we need to bear down on it without any delay.
And I think that's pretty much what the electorate are saying as well. They're saying this is out of control. People are coming here. We don't know where they're from. They throw their passports in the sea. They disappear into the black economy. And then they pose a threat to the UK. And that's simply not right.
It's not right, and it's not fair on British taxpayers who are paying hundreds of millions of pounds, billions of pounds, actually, in terms of having to accommodate and process the claims made by these individuals, many of whom know that they will never be removed from this country, so it's a risk they're willing to take. And it's also, frankly, aiding and abetting criminal gangs who cause death and misery to those innocent people who unfortunately pay money to be trafficked by them. And it is making a mockery of our borders. And that's why, really, as a country, we need to get a lot tougher. I think it means having to leave the European Convention on Human Rights. It is one of the things that the sort of lefty lawyers use to try and circumvent the system. This is a clear and present danger to our country. We have a housing crisis, pressure on our public services. We cannot afford to simply import large numbers of people, the backgrounds of which largely we do not know who they are. Huge security risk.
So just in terms of that, you mentioned the ECHR. I agree passionately we need to leave the ECHR. The Conservatives, and particularly Rishi Sunak, not keen to do that. Now, the illegal migration bill has gone through. It has robust measures in that, but it's just not feeding through, is it? Why haven't we left the ECHR?
Well, I welcome the illegal migration bill. I supported it. It was vigorously opposed by Labour, Liberal Democrat and Nationalist members of Parliament. No surprise there. But we actually need to go further. It helps mitigate the situation, but until we leave the ECHR, we won't be able to make our own decisions. The British people are quite clear that they want secure borders. There's a clear majority in Parliament of members of Parliament elected to our borders. To then have a foreign court, a foreign judge overrule, for example, the Rwanda plan is absolutely outrageous. And we need to take back our sovereignty when it comes to the ECHR so that we can get a grip of our borders and our security.
So just in terms of that, you're talking about the pyjama injunction, one judge that stopped Rwanda. Of course, that's gone to the Supreme Court. We're waiting to find out what happens with that. So the government has tried, I think it's fair to say, has tried a number of strategies. You've got RAF Scampton and Wethersfield, the Bibi Stockholm. You've got Rwanda over here, and yet nothing seems to happen. Now, time is running out, isn't it, for the Conservatives?
Well, you're right. Efforts have been made, and that's absolutely right. And I pay tribute to the government for trying those. But at every turn, there is a legal challenge. And until those legal challenges are dealt with, in other words, not allowing a foreign court to decide UK immigration policy, which is effectively what it is, until that is dealt with, we're going to constantly have this Groundhog Day of tough talk about securing our borders, bills being passed in Parliament to secure our borders, but then all of that being essentially overridden by foreign judges. It's outrageous, and it's something that we need to get a grip of without any further delay.
And what's the feeling amongst the Conservative Party, amongst the backbenchers about the ECHR? Because my feeling is if the Conservatives committed to leaving the ECHR, you could well see a poll bounce as a result of that. I think most people in this country would agree.
I think you're right. And I say as much on the floor of the House of Commons and in private discussions that I have with senior members of my party. I think it would be an incredibly popular move and one not just for electoral reasons we should do, but actually to really have a sustainable immigration policy and make sure that our country isn't threatened. If you look at some of the people who are protesting in London over last weekend, these are not people who are friends of this country. These are people who, in many cases, are looking to damage the traditions of this country. And if we don't wake up and address that with urgency, then I fear it's too late.